Our next fight was civil rights. Since our earliest years, WFSE members have understood that economic justice and social justice are inseparable. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "What good is having the right to sit at a lunch counter if you can't afford to buy a hamburger?" Even before AFSCME established a Committee for Civil Rights at the international level, WFSE had one to fight workplace discrimination in Washington through the Civil Rights Committee, which lives on today as the WFSE Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. Its first chairman was Walter Hundley, who'd been hired as the first black counselor at the Monroe Correctional Complex in the late 1950s, and become president of its local, WFSE Local 452.
Things were just beginning to see the bit in the cauldron of civil rights in the cities across the country, but they really hadn't come to a boil. It wasn't the big issue that it became later, and the union was really ahead of most other institutions of America at that time. So I was proud of that.
Under Hundley, the committee made sure that anyone could find fair pay, dignity, and respect in Washington's public sector. To expand our union's civil rights work nationwide, WFSE Executive Director Norm Scott joined several other AFSCME activists in founding CORE, the Committee on Union Responsibility. Scott and CORE's mission was to turn AFSCME from a civil service-focused reform organization representing primarily rural, white-collar workers into a militant, collective bargaining-focused union that would aggressively organize blue-collar workers and lend its muscle to the civil rights movement. Scott and CORE accomplished this transformation in 1964 by propelling Jerry Werf, the radical president of AFSCME's District Council 37 in New York City, to the position of AFSCME International President. AFSCME became organized labor's most enthusiastic supporter of the civil rights movement. In 1965, a special AFSCME convention rewrote AFSCME's constitution and included a Bill of Rights for union members, a first in the American labor movement. The melding of labor rights and civil rights was most dramatically expressed in fighting for the dignity of Memphis sanitation workers in 1968. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated while in Memphis, bolstering the striking AFSCME workers.
But let me say to you tonight that whenever you are engaged in work that serves humanity and is for the building of humanity, it has dignity and it has worth.
Thanks to WFSE activists like Hundley and Scott, by the end of the 1960s, AFSCME had succeeded in interracial organizing where others had failed. A third of AFSCME's members were black, dwarfing even the most progressive unions like the United Auto Workers. As a member-run organization, this diversity was reflected in our union's leadership. At the 1972 AFSCME convention, it was WFSE who nominated William Lucy to the post of AFSCME's Secretary-Treasurer, a post that made him the highest-ranking black official in any major union in the country. The sense that WFSE had a higher social purpose than simple material benefits was cemented in the civil rights movement. It firmly allied us with other unions seeking justice inside and outside the workplace, and positioned us to play a leading role in the coming struggle for women's equality.